open meeting where everyone in this room agreed that Nassau Avenue was the worst road in the village. It was admitted in an open meeting by members of the board. I would also like to invite Mr. Richardson to recall that I stood at this podium sometime after that and recounted an incident that I had had with National Grid. There was a distinct smell of gas in the road. I called National Grid. They sent a crew down. They put an instrument into the road, and inside that hole was over 97% gas. Now, that is an accident. That is a disaster waiting to happen. When the National Grid crew came down to create some sort of solution to this problem, I noticed, and I think Mr. Kennedy, you'll also appreciate this, that the surface of the roadway was only a few inches thick, and that the underlying concrete, which I imagine is subject to some sort of municipal code, was very thin. And that the pipes lying under that cement in the wet ground that we have there were rotting. The gas pipes were rotting. So Mrs. Lester has it right. I lived there too. Okay? It took me 2.5 years to know what was even on the capital plan. I came down and begged for it regularly, and then when we got it, we were given assurances that my road would be fixed. And yes, you know what? I'm really happy that my neighbors are getting the benefit of their portion of the road being fixed. I'm not here just for myself. I'm overjoyed that someone is going to get some benefit out of it. But we should not be left out. Top to tail is what we were told. From Atlantic Avenue all the way to the end. And you know what? Maybe it's not as bad at the end, but why would you start something and not finish it? Mr. Richardson says that, yes, we need infrastructure. We need water mains, we need drains. He says that the storm drains are impacted with silt. That does not stop at Suffolk Street. That continues all the way to the end. People on that street have their houses undermined by the collapsing of these storm pipes, which lead from the street out to the canals on either side. So the village isn't paying for that. They have to reach into their pockets for that. The village doesn't pay for the cars to be fixed, and I know that some of you have nice cars and you won't drive down that road because your car will be destroyed and your back will be out for a week. We need to get this fixed. We need to get this addressed. And unfortunately, I don't have much hope of it being done because it's taken 2.5 years to get a plan. We don't qualify for the multimodal. And how long did it take to get funding for this? I would really, appreciate some greater hope.
What I would like to say is this. The section to Suffolk, we had to find monies for it to get done because of the infrastructure. The section beyond Suffolk, going southbound, is only resurfacing. So it's a different gamut. We need to finish what we need to do with infrastructure needs, and then come back once we've got more multimodal funding to resurface. We can't use the funding that we're getting for infrastructure. So we just want to get the infrastructure stuff out of the way, and then the rest of the road, if they want to go down and resurface, it won't be a problem. We can't mix the two together.
I understand that we don't qualify for the multimodal because of the infrastructure issues, but perhaps I misunderstood. Mr. Richardson a moment ago said that we have infrastructure issues that need to be addressed, and it was his qualified opinion that those issues do not exist south of Suffolk Street. And am I understanding you to be agreeing with him and saying that all we need to do south of Suffolk is resurfacing?
Right.
I invite you to revisit the issue.
Oh, we will. Yes, sir. We will. Not at the same time.
You do have infrastructure issues the whole length of the Nassau Avenue. We only had funding that we went out for to cover us up until Suffolk. We don't have the road resurfacing issue that we do from Atlantic Avenue to Suffolk that we do south of Suffolk. So south of Suffolk doesn't have a road problem as far as potholes and things that like that. It does have an infrastructure issue, but we didn't go out for the funding to address the whole length of the project because we, as the board went out to seek funding, it wasn't deemed that they could go further than Suffolk based on the recommendations of the engineering department. So we're trying to get the biggest bang for the dollar. We can address multi areas of issues when it comes to infrastructure or road resurfacing.
Okay, so what's the plan for the rest of the infrastructure problem?
We want to address from Atlantic Avenue to Suffolk, and then at some point in time, if we see where we can go out for other funding to address the additional issue regarding south of Suffolk, then we will address that issue. But we want to go as far as we can with the funding that we have.
That's not the way I understood it either.
No,
So my concern is how much it's going to cost and what's the time frame? Because why would we fix part of a problem?
If we go further south of Suffolk, we're looking at a road raising situation. And the funding to raise that road is more than the project from Atlantic Avenue to Suffolk. You're talking about raising a road that's going to cost a tremendous amount of money to do it the right way. So if we go south of Suffolk, it's going to cost more money than it is to do the project that we have proposed to the board when we went out for the funding.
That's the problem.
Yes, sir.
That's the problem. I want to meet with the residents, with you and engineering. I want to take a walk down in that area.
Yes, sir.
I want us to come up with some real tight numbers
Yes,
and come up with a plan because it's not going away.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay.